Have you ever wondered what it takes to fight an invisible enemy? To chase shadows across deserts, markets, and villages? Let me take you to Niger, a country in West Africa where soldiers, police, and everyday people are locked in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse against armed groups. This is the story of 3 days in April 2025. 3 days that show just how complicated, dangerous, and surprisingly hopeful this fight can be. Picture this. It's a scorching Thursday afternoon in the village of Malonkwara. Chickens scratch at the dirt, and the smell of wood smoke hangs in the air. A team of soldiers moves quietly between mud brick houses. They're not here by accident. For weeks, they've been tracking a man who works as a spy for armed gangs. And today, they've found him. The man doesn't put up a fight. He's handcuffed, driven away, and taken to a jail in the capital, Niamey. On his phone, investigators find messages that lead them deeper into a hidden world of secrets and violence. But let's rewind just one day. On Wednesday night, under a moonless sky near a place called Kombai, another drama unfolds. Soldiers hiding in the darkness watch a man drag heavy fuel barrels across the sand. When they grab him, they find 200 liters of gasoline, enough to keep a terrorist group's trucks running for weeks. They also find cash, 102,000 West African francs, roughly $170. It's not a fortune, but it's proof that someone's paying to keep this war alive. Meanwhile, in another area called Bumba, soldiers corner 2 wanted men. These aren't just fighters. They're the guys who smuggle food and fuel to the people with guns. A shootout breaks out. When it's over, the 2 men lie dead. Now here's the twist. This war isn't just fought with bullets. Sometimes it's fought with information. Take what happened at a busy market in Degao. On that same Thursday evening, as women sell spices and men barter for goats, a man stands near a vegetable stall pretending to shop. He doesn't know plainclothes officers are watching him. When they arrest him, they find a phone full of coded messages. But the real shock? A crumpled receipt in his pocket lists prices for rice, oil, and details about army patrols. Terror groups aren't just buying guns, they're buying gossip. But not all stories end well. Later that night, in a village called Jagada, masked men storm houses. They steal money, sacks of grain, even shoes. An old man later says, "They took everything but our fear." But this time, the army reacts fast. Soldiers race to the village, arrest 12 attackers, and seize 2 AK-47 rifles. To keep the village safe, they leave behind a patrol. A reminder that help can come quickly now. The next morning, in Diffa's central market, soldiers pull off a quieter but just as important win. They've been watching 2 men who look like ordinary traders, but when they search their donkey cart, they find medical supplies, food, and batteries, all meant for terrorists. These men aren't the ones planting bombs. They're the ones keeping the bombs possible. Without them, the violence starves. Up north, near Niamey, police and soldiers team up for a major raid. In a dusty warehouse, they catch 6 men red-handed. The loot: military uniforms, fake IDs, and 780 liters of gasoline. One investigator holds up a uniform patch identical to the Niger army's. "These guys aren't messing around," he says. "They dress like us to trick villagers to sneak past checkpoints. It's dirty work." But here's what surprised me. In the middle of all this chaos, there's kindness. In a tiny village called Terr Fatik, soldiers set up a medical camp under a tree. A woman brings her sick baby, and a soldier, who moments ago was cleaning his rifle, gently checks the child's fever. Villagers get free medicine, and for a few hours the soldiers aren't the army, they're neighbors. "We're not just here to fight," says one medic. "We're here to help." By the end of those 3 days, the numbers tell part of the story. 12 attackers arrested, 6 smugglers caught, fuel and guns seized. But the real story is harder to measure. It's the market woman who now whispers tips to soldiers. It's the farmer who waves at patrols instead of hiding. It's the fact that in some villages, soldiers drink tea with elders now, talking about the weather instead of war. Of course, the fight isn't over. The desert is vast, borders are porous, and hunger and poverty make it easy for gangs to recruit. But step back, and you'll see something new. Trust. Slow, fragile, but real. In places where soldiers once brought only fear, they now bring medicine, supplies, and a promise. We're not leaving. So what's the lesson here? Maybe it's that wars aren't won with just guns. They're won by protecting the weak, by outsmarting the enemy, and most of all, by proving that the good guys aren't just tough, but decent. In Niger, that's exactly what's happening. One arrest, one clinic, one cup of tea at a time. As night falls over the desert, soldiers gear up for another mission. Somewhere, a terrorist is plotting. Somewhere else, a mother is tucking her children into bed, praying they'll wake up to a quieter world. The battle between fear and hope goes on. But in these 3 days, hope got a little stronger. What happens next in Niger, and in conflicts like this around the world, depends on stories like these being told. If you found this story of courage, resilience, and humanity in the face of chaos important, do 3 things for me today. Subscribe and hit the bell. Because stories like this don't make headlines often enough, and I'm committed to bringing you the untold chapters of struggles and hope from every corner of the globe. Share this video. Tag someone who needs to see how wars aren't just fought with guns, but with medicine, trust, and cups of tea. Awareness is the first step toward change. Drop a comment. Tell me, can kindness really win a war? Your thoughts matter. Let's start a conversation bigger than this screen. And if you want to take action beyond YouTube, learn about organizations working to support communities in the Sahel. Sometimes, hope needs backup. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and remember, every click, share, and conversation adds light to the darkest corners of our world. You've just witnessed 3 days in Niger. Tomorrow's story, it starts with you.